morning. It's 9 o'clock, April the 25th, 2022, and our regular Commissioners Court meeting is now in session. First item on the agenda is roll call by our County Clerk, Mary Jane Varela-Banone. Mary Jane, good morning.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Judge Rathwell.
Present.
Commissioner Mendoza. Commissioner Elizondo. Commissioner Solis.
Present.
And Commissioner Garza.
Present.
We have a quorum, Judge.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Next item is our invocation by Dr. Roger Miller, Commissioner's Court Chaplain.
Good morning, Judge.
Dr. Miller, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You bow your heads with me this morning as we pray. Our Father, Creator of all, we come together first thanking you for the opportunity to see the blessings which you provide. Help us all this day to see the world that you have created through new eyes of anticipation, expectation, and thankfulness. Help us this day to focus on you as the provider for all of our needs. And so today, Father, we come again asking and seeking your grace and your strength for the decisions before this court. May we know without question that you are here among us to provide our judge, our commissioners, and our court members with all that they need to accomplish the task before them. May they be assured of your desire to provide for their every need at this time, expand their understanding of the issues at hand, deepen their compassion for the people that they serve, and increase the confidence in their decisions as our leaders ask of you for their needs today, and prepare them to see this day the matters before them as an opportunity to experience your presence. And in Christ's name we pray this, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 4, communications, commissioners. We had, I guess, in between meetings at the Easter.
Well, we had our 19th annual Easter egg hunt with the Zapata County News. That was a great success. Kids had fun. They painted their faces. Each kid got a toy as well, so they had a great time, right, Ms. Karen?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we would like to thank our sponsors and everybody that helped out to make this event a success.
I heard it was a large turnout there in the Sister Shores Park.
Yeah, the Sister
Yes,
Shores Park,
so
right.
I think this was, I know it's an annual event, but this was, what year are we on? 19th year that the Zapata County News has been helping the county and sponsoring this event. So we thank you, Karen, for all the work you do for our community. And Commissioner, I guess this was your first or second?
It was our second that we tagged along with the Zapata County News, and I want to thank Ms. Nereida Garza. Is that her last name?
Yes.
Yeah, she did an outstanding job as well. They're helping us out.
Yes, that's very nice. I know our parks were all to capacity with everybody enjoying that weekend. I think along the boat ramp and also some of our our neighborhood parks were also very busy that weekend. Yes, Karen?
I also wanted to thank you all for the use of the community center for the JROTC ball. It was fantastic and we really appreciate it. The kids had a really good time. I'm sure there's pictures out there on Facebook somewhere. I don't do that. So anyway, but I wanted to thank you guys personally for allowing us to do so.
Well, anything for our kids.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
I know Pablo was the Easter, they're talking about the Easter.
Good morning, Judge Commissioner, sorry I'm late. Yes, we had our Easter event on Saturday. It was very successful. I know Commissioner Solis was able to attend, so we had a really good turnout.
Thank you for the invite. It was, you should see the smile on the kids' faces. That's priceless. So that's what it's all about.
Any other communications? I don't see our fire chief this morning. I know we had, his crews have been busy, of course, the ambulance runs, and of course there's been still, mainly grass fires and some structure fires that have been happening through our community, so they've been very busy. And I think, we're still dealing, his department is still providing vaccines to the community for COVID vaccines, and I've got the latest figures from the last report, which was 4/11/22. The updates confirmed positive for the entire pandemic for our county is 2,103. So that's an additional 14 since the last report. Probable cases 1,288, an increase of 3. And fortunately, no more deaths in our area have been reported. As far as vaccination percentages, 5 and over, 1 dose, we're at 76%. Fully vaccinated, age 5 and over is 65.08%. And our elderly population, 65 and over, 91.43 have received at least 1 dose, and fully vaccinated, 81.94%, and that's as of 4/11/22. Do we have any other communications to share? If not, we'll move on to public comment. This section provides the public the opportunity to address the Commissioners Court on any item on the agenda. Any members of the public wish to address the court at this time? If not, we'll move on to item number 6, approval of invoices. In your package, we had invoices from April the 8th, 2022 through April the 21st, 2022 for a total of $1,098,157.82. Motion by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Solis to approve the invoices as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Item number 7 is approval of checks issued, and we have checks from April the 8th, 2022 through April the 21st, 2022 for a total of $1,098,157.82.
Motion
Motion by
moved.
Commissioner Solis to approve the check as presented, seconded by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Moving on to reports and presentations. Item number 8 is a presentation for Border Colonia's Housing Rehab Program to Neighbor Works Laredo. And Commissioner, this is a presentation that was scheduled as part of the Congressman Clara's earmark to Webb and Zapata counties, where $2 million worth of funding was granted to Neighbor Works of Laredo, with $1 million designated for residents here in Zapata. I spoke, Ms. Verdial called me, and she said she had a conflict with her schedule this morning, and she would looks forward to working with our community and would like to be on the next meeting, first meeting in May. So we'll just table this and have her on hopefully in the first meeting in May, so we can get the specifics of the program and who will qualify, and see how we can spend those $1 million here in our community for our area residents. We don't have to table
We
it,
don't have to do
I'll
it.
just bring it back
Yeah.
on the agenda for the next meeting. Item number 9 is a presentation, and it's a proclamation honoring centenarian Juanita Figueroa on her 103rd birthday. I was informed by her family that she had just had a 103 birthday party. I see some of the family members
Yeah.
here. We did, my staff did prepare a proclamation, and I'd like to present it and read it to them. And this is a proclamation honoring centenarian Juanita Figueroa on her 103rd birthday. Whereas Juanita Figueroa was born on April the 9th, 1919 to Vicente and Ramona Figueroa, and whereas she is one of 4 children and has outlived all of her siblings, and whereas she has been raised in Zapata and has lived in Zapata for the past 100 years, and whereas while Juanita has never married, she has been an aunt to numerous nieces and nephews, and whereas Juanita relocated from Zapata Viejo to the new town site, as many of the town's original families did, and settled where present-day Zapata now stands, and whereas Juanita has always been known to her family for always welcoming them into her home and always having milk and cookies ready for a snack and a chat, and whereas Juanita has a notable distinction of having survived 2 global pandemics, the Spanish flu and the COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas Juanita has cultivated a love of cooking, tending to her garden and crocheting, and whereas she remains under the watchful eye of her loving family and regular caretakers, and whereas Juanita Figueroa celebrates her 103rd birthday on April the 9th, 2022, now therefore I, Joseph Rathmore, County Judge of Zapata, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2022 as Juanita Figueroa Day. So, I'd love to take a picture with all of you, and I know it's the Rodriguez family. Yes. Are we good?
Yes, right there, 1, 2, and there you go.
Thank you so much. And maybe she can share her secrets to long life with all of us.
I'll have to tell you that, wait a minute.
No, nosotros ni los he
Qué linda.
Mira, speaking.
Morning, Chief.
Morning.
Morning, Debbie.
Good to see the fire department coming in today. Good morning. Moving on to item number 10, is a presentation on providing surgical services to county employees and to explore a prospective urgent care clinic, and this is requested by Dr. Thomas Galligan, is that correct? Medical doctor and CEO of Laredo Surgical Center. I spoke with Doctor last week on the phone. I know you were in town visiting and you wanted to present, I guess what you could offer possibly to the county. I appreciate you taking the time to join us here this morning, Doctor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Commissioners and Judge Ratno, thank you so much for your time and hearing me at such short notice. And just the county of Zapata for welcoming me, myself and my team last week. So my name is Dr. Thomas Gallegos. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Laredo Surgical Center, which is an outpatient same-day surgery center. We provide neurosurgeons, general orthopedics, orthopedic spinal surgeons for Laredo. And I did my training at Driscoll Children's Hospital. So Miss Clara Driscoll and her goal to provide care to all children of South Texas and to see how that she has manifested that goal from the top down, whether it be from hospital executives to the nurses. I really took that to heart and I kind of implemented that mission in my mission for Laredo Surgical Center at Laredo and the surrounding areas. And so my goal was to really identify the needs. So today I have two goals. One is to inform you guys, the commissioners, of the services that Laredo Surgical Center has and what we can present to your employees here at Zapata County. And then secondly, to inform you of the prospects of opening an urgent care / PCP services for the residents of Zapata County, and as well as educational resources. I know Zapata County is very much so an underserved area when it comes to medical doctors. You're very fortunate to have nurse practitioners dedicated to serving the medical community. Spoke to Ms. Norma Guerrera at Gateway,
Yes.
and I know Ms. Mary Plattner at the private clinic. So with her retiring, there's going to be much so a need
big
for
void, yes,
PCPs.
yes.
So for the Laredo Surgical Center, what we can currently provide, we're an outpatient team-based surgery center. We take private insurance and we're in the process of being accredited through the Centers of Medicaid and Medicare Services. So any of the employees that have private insurance and or Medicare and Medicaid, we would love to continue to help them. The benefit of our facility is that we're small, so we can waive the high deductibles that many of the employees may potentially have with their healthcare insurance. The second thing is I would like to be connected, if possible, with the human resources or safety officer for the county, so I can discuss how we can work together to provide those services. As you guys are responsible for setting the employment and benefit policies, so we can see what ways that we can help in that area. As far as the urgent care is concerned, I do want to recognize the fire department and the services that they do provide, the EMT technicians after hours. I think that that's such a huge benefit whenever the clinics close at 5. So thank you all so much for your service. But the viability, I know the standalone ERs such as Stat ER and Laredo ER are ones that we discussed, myself and the medical director at Stat ER, of the viability here. And with the current healthcare system, we are very limited by third-party payers. And so one of the kind of facilities that we could potentially provide is the viability of an urgent care. The urgent care is based on volume, so I would like to see if there's any possibility that we can discuss potential contracts. For example, the section 1115 waiver, which allows for funding from the state that provides facilities and or providers that provide services to the Texas residents in areas of need. So I would like to say that we connect.
Yeah, we have, you know, just to interject, we do participate with the 1115 waiver. I don't know if urgent care centers are able to apply for those funds. I mean, that'd be something that certainly could be looked into. Yeah, the county for more than 10 years has participated with the waiver and doing those intergovernmental transfers from our healthcare funds to the state. And then in turn, LMC provides a primary care clinic to our residents. But certainly, like I say, we're underserved. We certainly would like to upgrade the amount of services to our residents. And if a partnership could be established where we could get an increase in medical services, we're all here. We listen, yes. Yes.
Great. Well, that's all my presentation is for. You know, we're early on in the research and development stage for the urgent care, but as we continue to learn more about the needs, we'll continue to.
Well, yeah, so we'd like to continue the dialogue with you, Doctor, and I appreciate you expressing interest in helping our community. And yes, our HR director is sitting right there, so she will get in touch with you and you know, move from there. But yeah, hopefully we're always looking to improve our healthcare, and I appreciate your interest in helping doing that. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Move on to the action items, Commissioners. We will deliberate and consider action on the following items. Item number 11 is a check presentation by Eshering Company recognizing Zapata County Commissioners Court of $350,000 Texas CDBG Community Development Fund CDB 21-0307 contract award for street improvements for Cardinal and Crane Streets. Mr. Escher, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Judge.
You've got a lot of good news on the docket, on the agenda for us, and I know it's been a lot of work, hard work, but there's some good things coming to our county.
It's bearing good fruit. And it's always good to come down to Zapata County. We don't get to come down here as much as we'd like to. But we're bringing you a rain this time.
There you go.
I hope.
We can look out for that this evening. It probably will get wet, hopefully. But no, we're here today to recognize Zapata County and Zapata County Commissioners Court and everybody that's helped put this application together and bring forth the good news of the $350,000 award from the Texas Department of Agriculture. You may recall that the priorities is to pave Cardinal and Crane Street. My wife Debbie and I, we went out there yesterday evening and drove that location again. We took some pictures. There'll be some environmental stuff that we're ongoing and continuing. And I'd like to also comment that the Texas Department of Agriculture reached out to Zapata County and Eshering Company the other day, and they want to use this project kind of as a model for the state agency to publicize and promote the activities and the enhancement that this particular project will do. So I want to congratulate you all on that.
It's certainly going to be very beneficial. I know you drove the area, and that area is being developed. There's construction going on. There's families moving in, so these improvements will certainly be worthwhile. Yes.
We actually noticed that yesterday evening, that there's been some development out there since the application was actually initiated.
Yes.
That's good news. Anyhow, besides that, we got you a check here this morning. We'd like to present that.
Yeah,
to Commissioner
can we
Stewart.
take a picture with you? And then, yes. You want to do it in front? check on that. Commissioner, check precinct. Good.
Okay, can you take a picture real quick?
No, one more.
It's if I'm a failure, I'll call you. Can I take
Yo
a
tenía
photo?
uno con calle.
Is there another? Yes,
You should stay there. You need another check presentation.
Yeah, we gotta announce it though.
That's not valid.
Well, I don't believe we require any action on this item, Mr. Esther, just the presentation, so no action on item number 11, sir. Item number 12 is also a check presentation by Esther and Company recognizing Zapata County Commissioners Court, $349,837.92 with the CDBG Community Resiliency Program Award from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs for the purchase of 2 new ambulances. And Mr. Esther, I certainly want to thank you. I believe last year you gave us, I guess, provided us some information that there may be some funding available, and we appreciate your efforts to making it happen. I mean, the court, of course, supported your efforts in receiving these funds, but we certainly I believe this is the first time we've ever applied for a grant from this fund from the county, and I appreciate your efforts in locating this grant opportunity for the county and now making it a reality. We've got our fire department here who absolutely will love these 2 new ambulances. I think our fire chief, Danny, I know you had some questions as to when we can order the ambulances, I think.
Yes, since we've never done it through one of these programs, Judge, and also, Mr. Escher, thank you, like the judge said, we really appreciate everything you did for our department and our county. We just wanted to get with you and check, as far as ordering the units. We don't know how the process works. We've been getting in touch with the vendor to provide the quotes, and he's just been waiting, so I told him we'd ask you today.
If I could address that right quick?
Yeah.
Okay, there is going to be the county received their award letter. The board at the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, they met last Thursday, their board meeting, and they made the award to Zapata County in that amount, $349,000 and some change. On Thursday, this week, I think at 11 o'clock in the morning, there is a webinar. Okay? And they'll be going over some of the requirements and some of the things that you'll need to jump through and provide. The main thing is, obviously, is we'll have to go through the procurement process, and that's actually just putting it out for bid, since that was a quote. It's over $50,000, so the county will have to go through their local, and federal procurement policy, meaning these are federal funds that come down through the CARES Act. And so, but other than that, after that, we'll open bids here in Commissioner's Court, and award to the vendor, and have them start manufacturing the vehicle. We do know that, the availability of that, I think we've got 18 months to complete the project, depending on the availability, but being we're getting a jump start on the program at the front end, we ought to be able to meet that timeline.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, again, I want to recognize the Zapata County Commissioners Court, and there's a lot of other people that have played a part in this. It's not just us. I mean, the county auditor, I had to call him like, I don't know, a week before, and I said, man, we gotta have this documentation, the county treasurer, obviously, providing some information to us as well, setting up a bank account and all that to put these funds in when they show up. And obviously, the Zapata County Fire and Ambulance, congratulations to y'all. I may add, this is going to be for 2 ambulances, 2 brand new ambulances. very similar to the ones that y'all
That's
currently,
correct. That's correct.
use on a daily basis, and so congratulations on that.
Thank
It's
you.
good news, and we look forward to,
I understand it was, of course, a very competitive process, and there were only a certain amount of applicants that were awarded, and Zapata County scored rather high, and I think thanks to you, Mr. Esther.
I'd like to add that there was actually 52 applications statewide. They disqualified 10, that left 42. They only funded 14, and Zapata County placed fourth. They were ranked number 4 across the state, so congratulations on that.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
very competitive process.
Very well.
Yeah, so
Just-
we've got another check.
Yeah.
Picture.
Danny, go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start charging for pictures.
Well, we're out of good pair of shoes today.
I don't want the back of my head to be in the picture here.
Danny, congratulations.
Aunque sean dos retratos de la mitad.
Maybe we can. I want to share right now.
I need a wide angle zoom.
Let's see. Okay, Jody, okay, how about you get a little bit. There you go, perfect. There you go. 1, 2, 3.
Got it.
Somebody comfortable. Yeah. También the presentation.
Yeah, so no action on number 12, teachers. We'll move on to item number 13 is to consider and act upon professional services agreement from Manuel Gonzalez, Premier Engineering for Zapata County's Texas CDBG CDB 21-0307 Street Improvement Project for Cardinal and Crane Street.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. Any comments, Mr. Esser, on that?
Just that these, fees are paid for by the grant at no cost to the.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 14 is to consider and act upon professional administration services agreement from Carl Esser and Esser and Company Consulting LLC for Zapata County, Texas CDBG CDB 21-0307
Motion moved.
Street Improvement Project for Cardinal and Crane Street. Got a motion by Commissioner Asa, seconded by Commissioner Solis. Any other comments?
Same thing.
Same thing.
By the grant.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 15 is to consider and act upon professional administration services agreement from Carl Esser and Company Consultant LLC for Zapata County CDBG Community Resiliency Program Award.
Motion moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion?
Same thing, paid for by the grant.
Very well. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item number 16 is to consider and act upon Zapata County, Texas CDBG CDB 21-0307 Civil Rights Resolution and Compliance Attachments for the Zapata County, Texas CDBG CDB 21-0307 Street Improvements Project. Motion by Commissioner Gasa, seconded by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion?
I just would add that all we're doing here today is documenting compliance. These are federal funds, so we're documenting compliance according to the Civil Rights Act of 1968.
Very well. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item number 17 is to consider and act upon Form 1024, presentation of Texas Department of Agriculture's Form 1024, Section 3, goal and concepts as required for the Texas CDBG Zapata County's CDB 21-0307 Street Improvement Project.
Motion moved.
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. Any discussion?
The only thing I would add is that, with the use of these funds, we try to, the activities is to promote benefit to low to moderate income people here in Zapata County. And so this is what we're doing here today, is to the greatest extent feasible is to provide these benefits to low to moderate income people.
Very well, yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item number 18 is consider and act upon consultation letters to Indian tribes requesting section 106 environmental clearance for Zapata County CDV 21-0307 street improvement project.
Motion to approve
Second.
is presented.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Gatsa, and this is a requirement of these federal funds, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item number 19 is to consider and act upon environmental review for administration funding exempt level of review for Zapata County Community Resiliency Program.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Gatsa, and this is,
This is for the ambulances, both the administration and the purchase of the ambulances is an exempt activity according to the National Environmental Policy Act.
very well. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item number 20, consider and act upon environmental review for purchase funding exempt level of review for Zapata County Community Resiliency Program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Gatsa. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item, number 21 and 22 are similar, Commissioners. So 21 is to approve submission of a project funding request, to Congressman Puebla for the construction of a new fire station for Zapata County. And 22 is consider and act upon proposed congressional
Motion
funding
moved.
request for budget for Zapata County Fire Department station. I think we should combine those probably in one agenda item. Basically, Commissioners, we've been, working with the Congressman, on this year's proposed earmarks, for his district. And we have made a priority of a fire station and of course some improvements to the sheriff department. Basically, with this, fire station request, there is a substantial cash match from the county. So it's not 100% grant, this would be a 55-45% grant, award. And the minimum that the congressman has suggested for his earmarks is $1 million request. We've been trying to see what it would take to build a sustainable fire station to meet the needs of our department. And so we're probably looking at the $1.5 to $2 million range. So if you do the math, 45% of that would be a substantial amount, maybe close to $700,000-800,000. I think we've discussed with Mr. Esser exactly what source of funding could come, these funds could come about. There is some money from the COVID relief fund that we have not spent, that we had allocated to improvements to our water department. I don't, of course, Mr. Trevino, our water plant manager, has a plan to make those improvements. We may not be able to require the use of the entire amount of funding on the onset, so those funds may be available. I just need to set a goal as to how much the county is willing to spend with that 45% cash match that, we did look into in-kind matching funding, and it's now allowable for this type of project. So it will have to come from direct funds from the county. Speaking with Danny, I don't know if you've met, of course, one of our neighboring communities to the south, the La Jolla Fire Department, in this year's earmark did receive funding for a new fire station in the amount of almost $1.3 million.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if that would be suitable for us. Have you received plans?
I have a meeting with them actually tomorrow morning at 9. Because the fire chief was the new chief, so it's kind of the same thing that we're doing with this one, but he wasn't familiar with the paperwork or stuff, so he set an appointment with the city manager of La Jolla for me tomorrow at 9.
I think for now, Mr. Escher, I guess the court needs to decide whether we're willing to move forward with a budget to submit to the congressman. Is that where we're at? Yes.
So I guess, Commissioner Gatsa, so you want to include that with your motion?
Yes, sir.
So
For 21 and 22.
yes. So there's a motion to approve with a budget of, I don't see, Roxy, how much did we submit for 2 million, is that correct?
I think it was 2.2, Judge, if I'm not
Sí,
mistaken.
2.2.
2.2, but I'm not sure.
So I think we might need to revise that a little bit downward, because initially, when we submitted that 2.2, we felt there was an opportunity that we might be able to get some in-kind matching, with the value of the land and some of the construction costs that maybe the county could do with our force, but, we got, word that it has to be a cash match, so, I think something that we can afford, you know.
So at 2.2, we're looking at 990.
Exactly, so it'd be a very substantial amount that,
We're close to $1 million.
so if we narrow that down to 1.5, then you're looking at maybe $900,000, how much is 45, do you have?
45%.
45% of 1.5.
It's 675, Judge.
675,000, that might be something that may be more affordable, considering that the sheriff might have some funding requests coming forward. And that might be something that we could use those COVID relief funds also, some of those funds to help us with most of that match.
Do you
So
want-
I think that.
Do you want to add that to the motion, Commissioner, an amount not to exceed, a budget not to exceed $700,000?
Right.
1.5 million.
1.5 million.
Allocation.
Yep. Judge, can we use the tobacco fund for that, or no?
I think, certainly, I think it would be a very reasonable request to look into, see, I don't know how much funds we have in there,
We have 154,000 in there. right
so
now.
we usually use that for medical supplies for the fire chief.
Because as a matter of fact, he has an item for
Yeah.
30,000.
Yeah, I'm actually in the agenda.
Yeah, that, usually we use it to buy medicines and equipment, so.
Repairs and maintenance.
Yeah, this would have to come either from our fund balance or some of those COVID relief funds that we still, may have used for,
Oh,
So is there a motion to,
Yeah.
let's tear it down to 1.5 million?
1.5.
request? I think it's something that's more realistic for us to afford.
That's what
Yes.
There was a motion, Judge, it was Garza Solis.
Motion,
Garza Solis.
Commissioner, that's a second by Commissioner Solis to request the funding budget of 1.5 million for the construction of a new fire station in, Zapata County. This hopefully will be approved by the end of the year and we can start working on it.
Judge, I'll excuse myself and then I'll come back.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
And so we had a motion by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Solis. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 23 is to approve an agreement between the South Texas Development Council and Zapata County for the low-income household water assistance program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Solis. This program, I met with Mr. Juan Rodriguez from the South Texas Development Council. He said this is a new program that will be administered by them, and this will be for those, I guess, qualified residents that are behind on their water bill. And I guess it will have an income threshold. I don't know specifics, but certainly they'll be working with the water plant on see who qualifies, how we can get the word out and help these residents to catch up on their delinquent water bill. So it's a good program. Hopefully we'll get, once we know the entire amount and how the application process will work, we'll be able to get the word out for our residents to come apply for this help. So I got a motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 24 is to consider a reduction to the 1 million liability insurance required to the lease agreement between Zapata County and Merit Energy. Commissioners, this is that building that the county acquired with the purchase of the golf course. It does have a tenant, has a tenant for many years with the previous owners. They, according to the contract, this was inserted by our county attorney, I guess to further protect the county. The company feels it's a little too high and does not want to pay for that and wants to negotiate. In the agreement, there is an indemnity clause to the county, holding the county not responsible for anything that goes on there. They do have, of course, fire insurance, and casualty insurance on the building. It's just a question of liability insurance, so, I wanted to get a direction from the county whether we want to, move, to lower that amount, require that amount. The previous, owner, landlord did not have, this in the contract, so, the company does not want to, have to endure that cost, for that building, so.
I'm guessing it's the concern for the premium, Judge, for the insurance.
Of course, yeah, the extra, cost.
Because $1 million is pretty standard from what I've seen, but they didn't have it before.
Well, I think there's some confusion as to where they want, because in the contract, which is 24, I think the wording in the contract is what's confusing. The way I read it, the way the provision was inserted, it seems that we're requesting $1 million of fire insurance as far as the value of the building, of the property. So I think, maybe we should
So
try to.
what are they comfortable with, Judge, or what?
I don't know. They just said they didn't want to, so it says here, number 8, lessee shall at its own expenditure determine to keep all buildings and structures on said premises insured against loss or damage by fire with extended coverage, if obtainable, in the amount of not less than $1 million. So what that's saying to me, and I'll have to revisit that with our county attorney, is that we want $1 million coverage.
Judge,
There he is.
how you doing, Judge? Sorry about
Just
that.
in time.
9 a.m. Just finished up.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
we're on item,
24.
24,
The lease
Counselor.
agreement, that's right, Judge.
And the company is, balking at the $1 million requirement for.
The court can choose to reduce that, Judge. We just keep it, at that, standard, rate, Judge, just,
Well,
in,
if you read, when I was reading through, I guess, number 8, it seems to be that we're asking for $1 million coverage, full coverage on the building. This is not just liability insurance.
uh-huh.
Judge, the building is covered through our insurance since it's county.
Right.
building, Right.
Yeah, so it is covered already, but, I mean, this would be an additional coverage.
Are you sure it's covered by us?
Yeah, all
Yes.
county buildings.
It's a county building.
It's owned by the county.
Okay, I didn't know we owned the building. I thought we just owned the property and not the building.
No, we own the building.
as well.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So do we require this, from any other, third
Usually
party?
they do have to provide, liability insurance.
Okay. But
Since
do we
they're
have a set limit, we have
tenants.
a policy that says it has to be X amount, or?
I can check with TAC, on the property
Do
since
we
they
know what
are
the property is
leasing the.
valued at? I mean, the building itself.
The,
Judge, I don't know, Judge, but I think it's too much money, $1 million.
They
Well, Lord,
valued it,
you
I just
know.
don't have it.
I don't
We have
have
an
those.
appraisal and they valued it.
Well, I think you can make the motion of, place insurance to the value of the appraised value of the property. of the
Yeah.
building.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Garza to, reduce the amount of liability insurance, I don't think it's liability insurance, I think it's coverage insurance for fire and, because it says, lessee at its own expense during the term of this shall keep all building and structure on set insured against loss or damage by fire with extended coverage if obtainable in the amount of not less than $1 million. So we're saying we want you to insure for $1 million, against fire. So we'll just, the motion is to reduce it to the amount of the appraised value of the building.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gatsa, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item, number 25 is to approve the extension of these are handrails outside the courthouse for $1,920 with an advance of a payment of $1,200 for materials.
Motion second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis, and this will be on the north end of the, so basically, I received a request from a resident who is using the ramp, which is ADA compliant, but it doesn't have any rails, and he, felt uneasy going up the ramp. It is a rather long ramp, and we have rails on the steps, but, he's, had it, find difficult in climbing the stairs, so this would be about I guess 80 or 90, foot handrail along the north entrance.
Who's gonna be the welder, Judge?
Huh?
Who's gonna be the welder?
The same gentleman, contractor that did the other handrails, he did a good job, and it's very reasonable, but he's a local with limited funds, limited capital, and he wanted an advance, so we usually don't do advances, but I think in this, he's done good work for the county in the past.
Right.
So, we got a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 26 is to review Zapata County Waterworks procedures and protocols regarding the maintenance and inspections of fire hydrants operating under Zapata County Waterworks service area. Commissioners, I put this item on the agenda. Of course, we had a structure fire, I guess, last week, and several of the hydrants in the immediate area did not function. I got several calls, angry residents, that they don't have confidence in any of our fire hydrants working throughout our system. So I think it's important that we ease their concerns. And so I'm asking our water plant manager to look into that, make sure they function, exactly what happened in that situation, and then report to the court on a monthly basis how many have been tested, how many are in working order, because I did receive numerous calls and they were not very nice and rightly so. They were concerned about the county not taking the time to make sure that those fire hydrants are in working order.
Good. I too received several phone calls as well, so, I was just, you know, this is something that we could do, of course, just, reaching out to the surrounding, water departments, which is Laredo and Roma. They were telling us that it was the fire department that was in charge of this, that they would work in conjunction with them, and also Rio Bravo. So I don't know if it's something that the court would want me to work with the chief, or do you want the water department to solely take this on?
I think it's something that the water department should handle. We'll leave the, you know, the actual putting out the fire to the fire department and the EMS duties that they have, but I think the water department should handle the duties of making sure that, so as of now, nothing was being done to make sure these hydrants are in working order?
They were tested back in November, and they were starting to be mapped by our CAD technician, but unfortunately, he resigned in December, so, but he managed to get a good part of the chunk, you know, initiated. So,
Mr. Tran, do we have an idea how many fire hydrants we have throughout the county, just ballpark number?
that's good.
No, I think what we need to do is set up a plan to go by precinct, neighborhood, you know, as you go with your crews, testing them, identify them. You know, I know there's other duties, but we need to make sure that we go neighborhood by neighborhood, check them on a regular basis that they're working, and then report to the court, so I'm able to confirm to the residents that, yes, we are checking them, they are working, because I can tell that we're not checking them, so we need to stay on
There's
top
some
of
that you
that.
drive around, and they have tags. Those were the ones that were inspected and checked back in November.
I know some of them are frequently used when you guys have to
Yes,
release
with
that air
the
pressure
Yeah.
from the water lines, but obviously it's not all fire hydrants, they go through that process.
Yeah, so I think we just, develop a plan and report to the court on, and then on the second item is what happened with those three that were not working? Have you identified the problem?
There were two of them. So the first one that they tried to.
Well, I think our fire chief, that said there was three.
That's what the crew that was out there told me. I was not there personally that day, but they had mentioned it was 3.
Okay.
On me.
I could check, because I know that the one on
Yeah,
17th,
but yeah.
that one is operational for some reason, which I guess we need to investigate. Now, I'm not sure why. So every hydrant has a valve where it's connected to the main, but that valve down there was closed. So obviously, when they tried to connect and get some water, the hydrant itself didn't have any water because the valve underneath. So they
Manual valve was turned off.
Yeah, so that one should be in working order. As of Friday, they told me that they tested it. Another one that they did was 16th and Medina. So that one, for some reason, they told me that the hydrant assembly was broken. So when they tried to twist it, the whole hydrant kind of like, I guess, they're just pretty old.
Back of use and.
Yeah, like used, just,
So that one needs to be replaced,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes, sir. So I know for those.
So that's, there may be others, and certainly, we don't wanna, something to happen and then say, well, we didn't know it was not working. And so it's hard for me to defend the county when a structure fire like that happens and we're not prepared to handle the situation. And of course, the fire department did a job, but they had to haul water back and forth, which is, it's not a good thing when you have 3 or 4 fire hydrants near the structure and they're not working. It's not good.
And I spoke to Chief Danny on, I don't know, it was Thursday, so what we're gonna do is, when we come across one that is either broken you know, or needs to be replaced or something, so we're gonna paint it black, of course, so that way, if, in case there is ever a fire.
I think
But-
we need to fix them.
Yes,
I
of
don't-
course.
I'd rather
Just
not
for
paint them.
momentarily, I mean,
Yeah.
it's because I don't wanna leave it and then it
Well,
happens within 2
I
days,
think,
there's a fire.
Ralph, I think once you paint them, it's gonna end up being like that forever. I think if you identify one, you need to fix it.
Well, there's a rule that you, if you paint it black, can't be there for about 2 weeks and that's it, so then we do have to have it operational, but that's fine.
I think we just need
No,
to.
we need to change them, bro. Anyway, you're gonna spend about 1,600 on each one.
Yeah, I don't wanna go the painting route and tell them they're not working. I think we just need to fix them, when we identify them.
That's fine, no problem. Yes, sir.
So I guess we can combine, 26 and
26 and 27, we'll make a motion.
to approve both.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll, require some monthly reports to the court to see what subdivisions, your crews have checked and made, that they're in working order, those fire hydrants. Okay, got a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Who seconded it?
Thank you, Mr. Reyes.
Item number 28, to enter into agreement with iDocket.com LLC for the Constitutional County Court to license the Judge's Bed software for Operation Lone Star.
To approve as presented, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. And Operation Lone Star, I think the sheriff has some funds, we were able to get some reimbursements.
Yes.
Does it check in yet, Sheriff?
It's on the way.
It's on the
It's in the mail.
But the
Yeah.
green light was given.
The green light was given, that's good news.
Cheryl now.
The other departments, we have not been given the go-ahead to move forward, with the actual, I guess, arresting of individuals here in our county, by the DPS. I guess whenever they feel we're ready, we'll get going, but this is part of the process. We need to make sure that our software is in line to be able to communicate with those cases. So, got a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 29 is to approve a local order of special election for the May 7, 2022 constitutional amendment election as ordered by the governor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 30, to request the use of the fairgrounds for a boxing event to be held by Alcacer Entertainment.
Judge, this is the same people that came the last time that they wanted to use the fairgrounds, what's it called?
Showborn?
The showbarn, yes.
And they're gonna take everything again?
Yes, I mean, I told them that they
No.
would have to be here and do a presentation, because I know that the last time we had problems, putting it back.
No.
Okay, you may approach, sir. Yes, your name?
Carlos Alcocer.
Carlos, okay?
Just to make sure I'm not the same person from the last.
No.
They said they were having some event. I'm a new promoter from Laredo, Texas.
Okay.
I'm having my first event June 17th in Laredo. There is some championship fights. I'm having some locals from Zapata.
We have about 4 locals, correct?
Yeah, there's 3 locals, Alan Garcia, Daniel Villarreal, and Damian Guajardo. They'll be fighting in Laredo. Then I wanted to come,
To do an event here in Zapata.
Yeah, hopefully July 22nd.
I think the only concern, Carlos, was that the last time, of course, all the livestock pens that are inside of that building were completely removed, and we didn't receive any assistance to put everything back together.
Yeah,
I think that was a concern.
I heard that, I explained to Ms. Oler, that I will have, I don't know if there's someone from the county that knows how to exactly, replace them. I will gladly pay the fee for their hours, or somehow, arrange that to make sure, the quality of the plate will be.
Have you seen what's inside that showboard? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a huge
Yes.
undertaking.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I know that it took the guys maybe like a week to put it back together.
You know how many guys were?
do you need that, is that the only space that is suitable?
Have you looked at the community center or?
The pavilion.
The pavilion?
How many people can I hold in the community center, do you know?
Chief, do we have a occupancy on the community center?
I don't have it on me right now, but I can check that.
The community center, we just replaced the floor there, so I don't know.
We have the pavilion also, Judge.
The pavilion, huh?
The pavilion.
How about an outdoor boxing event?
Some people don't really like the outdoors.
You know?
You're gonna be there like for 6 hours for the show. And, I don't know, it's a little bit
Well, there's already a ring and there's some bleachers that were there that was part of the show, the livestock show that we had. Maybe we don't have to remove everything like we did last time, I think. So you might wanna go with the commissioner and see what, and look into not having to remove everything that's in there.
Maybe put a proposal together on exactly what would be done, and I guess we can come up with a cost associated with that.
Yeah, cause I had told them that if anything, they would have to pay probably upfront, so that way we would.
That's also okay with me. You have to pay like a few weeks before the event or something. We would have to make sure at least if anything goes wrong on my side, you guys at least have.
When is this event for June?
July 2nd.
So there's time for you to go see have you been inside the?
I was
The
there.
showroom, yes, I.
Okay, so, and you have to remove everything, you feel?
Mostly, yeah, I think so. So I'll set the ring in the middle, and then a few tables around, and then I'll be renting some bleachers to put all around it.
Okay. Well,
I guess the most difficult part is that those panels are, it's like a puzzle, you know, so a certain piece has to go connected with a certain piece, it's not like they're all the same, and that's what becomes time consuming.
Okay, that's why I was trying to see if somebody like that works there, that already knows like the setup, like you said, like the puzzle. And I'll pay the fee for the hours, or, you know, I'll pay that up front.
how much is the fee for the rent on the?
Was it 1,500?
It used to be
I think it's
1,500.
1,500. The rental was almost 1,500.
How many people do you expect?
Thinking around 2,000. Hopefully if I can pay a little bit more.
Always good to bring promotions to a community, and so I'm certainly not against anything like that, but.
It's a very
Figuring out how much it's gonna
event,
cost,
so.
yeah. Well, let's just, figure out the logistics of how you're gonna, put it back the way it was.
Okay.
And then come back next Commissioners Court meeting, which is on the 9th. I think that gives you time still.
Should we gonna table it for further
So
discussion?
I would think so we can, then we can analyze what the cost of,
I'll make a motion to table for further discussion.
Will they be providing insurance?
Liability insurance.
I have an insurance, a bond insurance for the event, for the people involved in the event. I already have it.
I'll second Commissioner Alex's motion to table it.
We'll have you back on the 9th, May 9th.
Yeah.
May 9th meeting. And that between now and then, you can determine how you're gonna put everything back together the way it is right
Do you
now.
guys
I
need
can
like a-
probably get together with them and see
Yeah.
how much time it's gonna take for us to put it back together, maybe for them to pay that
Okay.
extra fee, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
Also,
all right.
do you guys need like a map of my setup? Like-
Yeah, that
That
would
would be good.
That'd be great.
And a copy of the liability insurance, do you need it?
Yes.
Mandy?
Okay, all right, we'll table it for the May 9th meeting.
Okay, appreciate your time.
Motion tabled by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion tabled. Item number 31 is to approve the installment of timers for the sprinkler system, in the amount of $2,964.44 to be paid from the certificates of obligation series 2021.
This is for the golf course, Commissioner?
Yes, that is correct. I added this, we have four, I believe it's, 4 sprinkler system timers. We gotta fix these in order to figure out which sprinklers are actually down at the golf course. I believe we have over 300 sprinklers. So
Motion to approve.
So it'll be a little bit,
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be a little easier instead of going manually one by one.
Okay, Commissioner Mendoza makes the motion to approve the funding, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 32 is to enter into an agreement with Edmunds Gov Tech Financial Software. Mr. Salinas.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I was providing you a proposal from Edmunds. Unfortunately, I didn't get very good news from the software that was approved a couple of years back.
That was STW?
STW got bought out, Judge and Commissioners, by OpenGov. So they were honoring the contract that we have with STW. Well, about a month ago, I received a call that we were gonna have a Zoom meeting, and I was thinking they were gonna get me on the cloud as they had promised. They said, we're placing this call just to let you know that you cannot afford this anymore, because it's gonna cost you like $148,000 a year. I said, definitely I won't be able to afford that software, but I do need to move on and get a new software. I went ahead and looked, and this is the one that we were able to find. which is very reasonable, and it's even lower than what STW had proposed to me back then.
So are we gonna have to change the whole system all over?
The
again?
whole system, including waterworks,
Wow.
because we were just going through the conversion. But the good news is that it's cloud-based, we can work from anywhere. Right now, we're very limited, that if, for any reason, we have to be out of the office, we wouldn't be able to continue. So, working the whole, accounts payables, accounts receivables, payroll.
Mr. Salinas, just out of curiosity, have you all, made contact with other counties of our size to see what software they use?
Everybody's out there looking, and they're all super expensive. This is the one that's more affordable. There's a lot, I just got back from my seminar where I had to go get my educational hours. And a lot of the smaller counties were getting information, and they're probably gonna be going.
Do we know any existing county governments that are using that software currently, that we can get some feedback from?
The city of Cotula just engaged the contract to go with them. And the reason is because the software has the utilities combined. There's not too many softwares that'll give us the ability to interconnect the department. Waterworks will be connected to our general ledger, so all that posting, the way we used to be, they were independent, with their own software.
Does the software allow department heads to log on to see what their current budget balances are?
Everything that I have with STW, I made sure that I was gonna be getting the same thing, that,
How many
so-
proposed do you have, Mr. Salinas?
What was that?
How many proposed do you have in your hand?
Proposals, how many proposals do we have?
Well, the ones that I had from the last proposal, you were looking at 100,000, over 100,000. I know that council over here had mentioned before that the softwares are not cheap anywhere.
Is there, you have, what is the cost of this one?
This one, the conversion is 50.
Can Mr. Esther find us any money, man, for?
54,000. But if we go
The
ahead.
first year would be 54,650, and then the annual payment would be 28,150. So it is a reasonable amount.
Very reasonable amount, because out of that 28, 5,000 is the waterworks, so.
And what is the, the timeline on the conversion?
We would be converted by April, March or April this coming year. That way I can break away from OpenGov and not continue with them for the 2 years that I have left. With them, I need to get away and start the conversion ASAP. And if we do agree with it, we'll start the conversion immediately, and we'll be up and running by March or April.
Have you all done like a mock training on it?
They've
See how the
already,
software
oh
works
yeah,
or
we
not?
sat through the demonstration, they provided us with a demo to my office personnel, and I included the waterworks. So, we all have gone through that, Commissioner. I've done my homework, and I know that
No, I understand.
every software out there is super
I
expensive.
just wanna avoid us having to replace it again in 2 years.
Can't wait till.
No, this is family owned, they've been in business for 50 years.
So the current company is of no obligation to honor our current pricing right now?
None whatsoever. They said you can continue with us and, but expect like $145,000.
So the current contract, was it annual or was it long?
It was a 5-year contract that I have with SCW, and we're honoring it, the commissioner. And the thing is, they were not gonna support payroll, which is one of my main functions. They wanted me to outsource it to, Kronos. Kronos, that just to do the payroll side of it was gonna be 48,800. I mean, just
It's not feasible.
to do the software, which is, the payroll.
Are we gonna go back to paper or what?
No, I don't want to pay for
Well,
that.
Commissioner, they are honoring the contract, but what Mr. Salinas is trying to
Defense
avoid,
services.
not having anything set up when the contract is over.
So we're gonna have to pay, this year, we're gonna have to pay our current contract and add another 54,000.
So how much is our current contract, Mr. Salinas?
We're paying 29, like 30,000 right now, is what I'm paying opens up. But I'm gonna be requesting judge and commissioners a refund for the 3 years that I've paid them for things we didn't roll out. There was a lot of things that were included.
So we might be able to afford this with the money we've
Yes.
already paid, okay?
Yes.
Well, that's, that makes sense.
Judge, considering the amount exceeds the 50% cap, do we have to bid this out, or?
These are professional services?
So we're, yeah.
You could,
Yes.
that it's a professional because it's a specialized, computer type services, Judge.
So we don't have to get
Software.
multiple proposals?
So it's up to the court. The court can require it if you want, because it is kind of there between the professional services and not. So the court can require it if not, or you could choose to waive it and move forward.
I think we need to move forward with it. I think that the
All right,
treasurer.
I'll make a motion to approve, to go into agreement with Edmonds, GovTech, and we'll waive the.
I'll second the
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 33 is to approve the transfer of $30,000 from the tobacco fund to repairs and maintenance, 10-543-57, Fire Department. Motion by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Item number 34 is to request for the approval to open and post bid request for repairs on the Zapata County Waterworks tank towers and vessels.
Motion to approve is presented.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. I guess you've been getting some feelers as to what kind of we're looking in, what costs we're looking into.
Yeah, yes, sir. So it's something that I want to work with Mr. Carl, so see if we can get some, what kind of funding that we can.
Okay.
Will we be able to include this in the Colonia Fund type of,
Yes, I mean, as part of the, certainly, when we're applying for a water tower, just, we had, dedicated the COVID relief funds, the second half of COVID relief funds to this type of project.
oh, okay.
So we do have some monies available now with the fire station where we may not have the entire amount. So I guess we'll see once the bids start coming in, how many monies are available. I think we still have almost $1.4 million that will be coming to the county before June from the COVID relief. So we'll have some monies available, and hopefully we can do both projects with those monies. So that's been approved, right? The motion has been.
Mendoza Solis.
Mendoza Solis.
Mendoza Solis, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 35 is to enter into an agreement between Zapata County and the CT Brandon Corporation for engineering services at Zapata County Airport. Ramon, good morning, our airport manager is here.
Judge, it's a 1-year will call contract, and basically what it is that if we ever need anything at the airport that's under 1,500, they'll be able to engineer it and have it done for us. And in order for us, because we got the grant for the fuel farm.
Yes.
And in order for TxDOT to go through with the grant and the engineering, we need to be in contract with a company like Brandon, and you know, they specialize in.
And we've had a relationship with them for many years.
For over 20 years, I believe, Judge.
Yeah.
That's what Casey had told
So
me.
this is an existing service that we have with them, or?
Yes, but we weren't under contract with them. I guess I would just, as soon as we get something.
needed.
Exactly.
Will this cost the county anything today?
No, not for this contract at all.
But it's a will call, if they
Yes,
require them, it'll be
If we
effective.
need them, then, you know.
So it's just a format, just have something in writing.
Exactly.
Actual written.
That's right.
But this will help us, that fuel farm, of course, we're looking at estimates from $500,000 to $750,000, to be able to have fuel for the airplanes that visit our airport.
Yes.
With them on board, that the amount of funding, that the county will be liable for is substantially less to get that fuel farm.
I'll make a motion to enter agreement with CT Brandon Corporation.
I'll second the motion,
By
Judge.
Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. And I guess, Counselor, I guess you can review the agreement.
Judge, I don't have the agreement, but if,
I don't know if you all.
if you provide it, I can take a glance at it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes, and so we'll approve it subject to the revision
Sure.
of our county attorney.
I'll
But
review it.
everything it should be a standard contract. And-
Okay. I'll get a quick look
And
at
we
it.
have had a relationship with that company for many
We
years.
have to. And as soon as you do sign it, Judge, you let me know that way, if upon approval.
Because it is time sensitive, we
It
need to
is,
get
it is.
those tanks in, so hopefully we can have it today.
Sure. Let me know.
Judge,
just
I'll
that way.
review it now, I'll get it to you next, 20 minutes or so.
Okay, all right, okay, we got a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Judge, has there been any progress on the land acquisition for the airport?
Yes,
There,
yes.
when I went to the TxDOT, aviation, conference, there has been, I think they're only pending one.
And just, the track on the southern end of the airport.
That's all
that
they're
is-
pending and we should be good,
So
so.
there's still negotiations with that
There
property
is-
owner, or?
Yes, there is, but, you know, he really doesn't wanna budge, but, I know that I need to call them, but they were like, well, work on one first and then the other one, so I'm trying to get the fuel farm situated first.
The fuel farm has been I guess, the more
For-
important
yes, it is.
as of now to get, the current tank that we have there.
I think it's only good for about 6 more months, Judge, so we need to kind of expedite. Excuse me.
We're on a time crunch.
Yes, we are, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Item number 36 is to approve payment for Zapata feed and rack supplies in the amount of $3,392 for VAT-3 material improvement. VAT-3, those are the livestock inspection vats. I think this one was on the Deposan Road, I believe.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Motion moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 37 is to approve proposals from SCS Engineers for aerial services for the San Ignacio landfill. Total cost is $16,000, is requested from the Certificates of Obligation Series 2021.
Motion moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. Basically, this will be, we did purchase additional lands, for the landfill expansion. This will allow us to, I guess, go higher on our current landfill, is that correct, Mr. Sines?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So they need to do an aerial drone, survey and to get, a permit to,
From TCQ.
to increase the height of our current permit while we build, the expansion, so.
16 grand to fly a drone.
Yes, sir.
Well, and then map it out and.
Yeah, I know.
The more to it.
And a motion is second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item,
38.
38, to approve hosting and service level agreement with Net Data Corporation.
This is the
Yeah.
software that we use for JP collection and.
Correct. I did, speak with, our county attorney and had 2 issues on there, which was, he wasn't sure of the pricing, which the pricing is $24,000, which is the same as it was the previous 3 years. The second, issue was the 3-year, the auto yearly renewal after the initial 3 years. I spoke to GHS and they were gonna talk to their legal, but I told them we felt more comfortable not having that automatic renewal. So I would suggest from speaking with the council, speaking with our county attorney, not to scratch out or remove the clause where it's an auto renewal.
So right now, are we on a 1 year?
No, it's a 3-year.
Three-year
These are the
contract.
end of our first 3
Okay,
of our
so
initial
we're
3
up to
years.
renewing an initial 3
Correct.
year, that's what this item is for.
Motion moved.
I'll second the motion, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner
It's just
Garza,
a
seconded
contract
by
they
Commissioner
presented.
Mendoza. All those in favor say aye.
The contract they presented was a 3-year with automatic 1-year renewal.
So we're just gonna remove the auto renewal clause.
Well, that's what I suggested to them,
Yes.
just so the county can.
And I spoke with them and
Yeah.
they weren't really too thrilled with it, but they were.
Oh, and-
We got
So,
to-
Fernando, is there a 90-day?
A 6-month, 180.
Termination notice?
Yes, on our part.
So it's really, I mean, it's our, we can.
Well, that's why I
There's
told them
an
we
out,
could work
Judge.
around it if we do the.
There's an out, Judge, but the problem is that
But we
whenever you have
forget.
long periods like that, very few people are staying on top of the clock, Judge.
So I told them if they
On
want,
the timeline.
on their end, if they want to,
The auditor has to put it on his calendar to
and let it be.
get a reminder.
Well, and they've done some pretty good work for us as far as collecting
Yes.
fines.
And I spoke
Now you gotta have it on.
I spoke with all 4 JPs and they were all happy with it and they were wanting us to move forward.
Well, the court could conceivably be amenable to a 3-year contract, with a, 1 year, that was approved by both individual
I
entities.
told them they just had to work around it and get us the information to renew 6 months before on their side instead of on our side.
Were we able to get numbers, Mr. Gonzalez, from them? I know at the last meeting, we brought up the concern as to how much was still out there pending, on delinquent fees. Have we gotten that
No,
information?
I can talk to them and get that information for next meeting.
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
because I know, I think initially it was about $2 million or something like that. It was a
Okay.
pretty high amount. Okay. There was a motion and a second, Judge Garza Mendoza on that item.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 39 is to approve interlocal agreement between Sulphur Springs Police Department, Franklin County Sheriff's Office, and Zapata County.
Motion move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza.
This is just, they house, the backups there, so we can have access to it. It's just an interlocal agreement to be able to access it.
The data
But they have-
backup on the
correct.
servers.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number
you.
40 is to approve the temporary closure of US Highway 83 to host the Zapata Riders Second Annual Cycle de,
Motion to
Cinco de
approve.
Mayo,
Cycle.
Cycle de Mayo event on May 7th,
Cycle.
2022.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 41 is to review existing easement on Falcon Shore Drive.
Good morning. Yes, any news for us, Mr. Gonzalez? Your hands are full, right?
Yeah, I brought the plat that's recorded.
Were you able to review those contracts, Mr. Gonzalez, on, that was mentioned on the sales contracts, or?
No, not the actual contracts. What I was able to do is I was able to find a copy of the plat that was recorded back in 1988.
Okay.
And the plat shows that all the properties there are 167 feet in length, and they have a 20-foot easement on the back, which essentially, you still own those 167, but with the 20-foot easement leaves you about 147 that's buildable, right?
Right.
You don't wanna build on those 20 feet. 147 is roughly, I think,
Probably the longest or the deepest properties here in town.
yeah, most of our lots here in town are 140.
Yeah, 75.
And they have a 10-foot easement.
Right.
So they end up being, effective 1/3.
Yeah.
And so all the ones here in town site are 1/3. These are 147, so you get an extra 17 feet. So they're comparable to, I guess, not comparable, they're the bigger lots that there are here in town. In terms of length, on the width section, there's some that are 60 foot, there's some that are 70. So those are average size, they're 60s and 70s. They're good size for the community. I wouldn't recommend that we remove that easement. As it's continuing to develop, we may have a need for that, line in the back. And I had previously brought the existing lines that the waterworks has in that area. And currently what they have is just the map that we had looked at the last commissioner's court meeting. They have a line that comes in, goes around the back, and then comes back. And, as it continues to develop further, we may have a need for that line to continue going, you know,
I
south.
guess the concern was that, I guess some of those property owners have already built or are.
They've already encroached.
On those easements. We don't have anything in effect because, I mean, that's basically all over town. There's a lot of people who have
I was
encroached
gonna
on
say,
county easements.
if we go around town, we're gonna find
Yes.
hundreds and hundreds of lots that,
Probably thousands.
the community has already encroached upon our easements, and it becomes an issue when we have to go do a repair, or we have to go do an installation of a utility like electrical or water or sewer, and, that's where we have then problems that not be able to get there and service those lines properly.
And I guess one of the other concerns was that those property owners that were reaching out to us, were claiming that they were not aware that there was a 20-foot easement. That's why I wanted to see those actual contracts, to see. Because if it's on the contract, they signed that contract when they bought the
Yeah.
property. But,
And I'm not sure if they buy the property just as like lot 7, block 5, and that's it, and then whatever comes with lot 7, block 5. But that's why I brought the plat, because if they looked at the plat, you know, this is from the county clerk's office, so anybody that
Right.
pulls up the plat from county clerks will show that there's a 20-foot easement on the back of those lots all throughout, and I highlighted it in yellow so that it would stand out. There are 2 sections that we do have, we call it a utility easement coming from the what they call here on this plat, Sanchez Drive, going back towards the back. It also serves as a utility and / drainage, because in some of those cases, there is water that goes into the back of those lots. And so, that's pretty much what.
So your recommendation is, to keep it at the 20 feet?
Yeah, just because of the size of the lots, they're similar to the ones we have in town, or a little bit bigger than the ones we have in town. And if we make a change here, we may get into a situation where other customers or other residents throughout the community say, well, I wanna reduce mine also, and then we may not be able to stop that, and.
I agree.
And then we need
It's
to.
important that we keep it moving.
Well, you know, we're inclined to go with your recommendation.
Yes,
based on-
and that's our recommendation, that we keep it,
Make a
that
motion.
we keep the 20-foot easement, that is.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, to keep our 20-foot easement on Florida Drive.
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Mr. Gonzalez, before you leave the podium, what is the status on the Texas project?
On the Texas project, I visited with
It's a long
Roxy.
time ago now.
Yes, I visited with Roxy on that, and she had communicated with them on when we can actually start with those projects.
Are you talking about the paving project?
Exactly.
Everything got submitted on that, judge signed it, and that was like a couple of months ago. So there just hasn't been any response back in terms of when we could formally start with the paving on those jobs. Not all of them are paving, some of them are drainage improvements, but I know on, some of them are overlay type pavings. We have, Second Street in precinct 4. We have, Miraflores Drive on precinct 2. We have, Pelican Street on precinct 3.
And
we
one,
have,
it's, Ramirez Road.
we have our curb and gutter on Ramirez Road. Those are the 4 projects that got submitted, and the, budgets, yeah, the budgets got submitted with it. When Texas came last week, or I guess the last time that they came, I visited with them on that, and I asked them when we could start on those, because I know the court had been asking about them. And, it's not, I guess it's not on the county's court right now, it's on Texas side, but we can visit with them again this week and see if they give us a notice to proceed.
Okay.
We don't wanna proceed if they're not gonna, I guess, send the funding for it.
Yeah, that way I guess we can start the bidding process, cause at least for the Ramirez Road project, we're gonna have to contract somebody out for that.
Yes. I think the others, we were gonna check to see if we could do it with County Crews, and, we had been renting out a paver. You had a vendor come and present to Commissioner's Court about the auctions of our surplus, salvage material type. And I had asked her to see if there was any pavers that they had available that the county may be able to purchase or rent for these types of projects that would be coming up, so that we can have some savings in our, at least on our end.
She did, bring some information on that, on a newspaper with, I don't know how many hours on it, 3,000 or 4,000 hours on it. I mean, it wasn't a large amount, but it seems to be in a working order, but I don't know if we wanna go that route.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Does the school have any paving coming up, Mr. Gonzalez, that you know?
They
Partner with that, like we have in the past?
They do from time to time. I think they wanted to pave, over by the school district PD, department. And, sometimes, I think we need to just check with Mr. Morales, see what other areas that he had maybe been looking at to get paved, and it would be a good opportunity to partner up.
Absolutely.
Because we need too much to pay, because the guys, they're retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to.
Well, and we haven't paved probably in over a couple of years, maybe 2-3 years, so.
Well, and actually, I think the last paving project in precinct 3, was bid out, the company, Commissioner?
Ream.
Ream. They
That was
did a
done by
pretty-
Ream
Yeah,
Construction.
they did a pretty good job. I mean, it might be even more cost effective to just go that route, than to try to do it in-house and lose all that material like we have in the past.
It might.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, because we looked at it, on the school district side, we looked at what it would cost us to pave on our own, and what it would cost to pave with county crew, and it's a substantial difference
Yeah,
in terms of.
it's a lot of difference.
Because back then, we used to have our own paper machine.
Yeah.
Now that we're having to rent,
Well, I guess what I'm referring to is that in the past, when we tried to do a lot of this in-house,
We waste material.
we waste a lot of material, our equipment acts up, something always happens where we end up not being able to do the job 100% because of technical difficulties, and this way it would not be our responsibility, it would be on that private contractor, yeah. So just something to look at.
We can consider it, I mean, yeah, whatever the court wants to do, we'll move that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
So we did have a motion and a second.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're moving on to resolutions and proclamations.
Judge, Mr. Figueroa had something up.
Judge, I reviewed the contract and there are a few issues that Your Honor said the court needs to be made aware of. Specifically in dispute resolution, there is a clause that requires mediation prior to any type of legal proceeding being filed. So that is included on there. So if the court were inclined to sign it, it requires mediation before the filing of a lawsuit. There is also limitation of liability for any work done by the engineer and its employees, and it's limited to the amount we've either paid them or a maximum of $50,000, which is a pretty steep protection for someone that is completely designing the work, Judge. So if they were to mess up in that work, we'd be limited to only $50,000, which is a very low amount for a potential lawsuit, Judge. So those are two major issues that I discovered in reading.
So I guess you can negotiate those terms, or?
Well, mediation, that's up to the court whether you'd like to have a mediation or not, but
I think given the relationship we've had for over 20 years with that company,
well, prior to, Judge, because there was no contract, there was no limitation on liability. Now they are explicitly stating.
Well, I think we had contracts before.
I believe so, Judge.
Okay. Well, this is the first one I've ever seen for
So
it, Judge.
as far as the deadlines that you need to meet,
I mean, we could wait, Judge, if you'd like, I mean, but.
well, visit with them on the concerns that
Sure.
that may have and see how they can might be
I'll call
able
him
to.
today, I was gonna call him today after Commissioner's Court to see, and I can definitely bring.
And then, Judge, we need to go back to 35 and table it?
Yeah.
Well, we approved it pending approval from council.
So council has some concerns, so we'll, send those concerns up to the other party and say, see if we can come to an agreement. I think, given the benefits of having them on board, outweigh potential.
Well, I mean, the court could potentially, look, I don't know the extent of the work that's gonna be conducted, but if they're designing, like the fuel system that if they're designing that,
yes,
and they designed it so faulty that makes it, $50,000 is not gonna cover anything, Judge, associated with any type of horrific accident. Now, obviously, Judge, we're looking at worst case scenario, but that's my job, to look at worst case scenarios, so.
But on the, Judge, the tax dot is gonna take care of all that, but they consider Brandon because they're kinda like, but I understand what you're saying, but Brandon because they've got all the FAA standards and regulations and but yeah.
I just don't want to
Sure, I understand.
imperil, the funding that is coming our way.
Well, Judge, it's just really the issue of the limit of the liability, Judge. I mean, it's very explicit that their liability is limited to that which we either pay them or max $50,000. So
whatever we pay them.
Right. So, if based off the hourly rates that we have here, and I'm assuming that this is okay with what the court is willing to pay for that. So, assuming that's okay, then they're limiting essentially their liability. It's,
And we might not even use them, Judge, it's kind of just to be under contract because Tax Dodge needs them to be under contract with Zapata County to be able to proceed with the approval.
Well, my job is to warn you guys.
No, yeah, but I mean,
warn you guys
I think,
the danger.
I think we
Should you choose to listen to it or not, that's your call.
It was already approved.
But whatever you'd like to do, Judge, I've got a call.
Go ahead and sign them. Sign it and move forward. It has been approved, so, okay. Thank you, Counselor.
You're welcome.
And you're doing your job. Yes.
I am, Judge. Warn the court.
Yes.
Just don't tell us I told you so.
Yeah, well, no, I will tell you, I told you so. Because then everyone's gonna be like, why didn't the county attorney tell you, why did he tell you to not sign it? Now, let's hope everything's okay. Yeah, let's hope.
Resolution number 42 is a resolution supporting fiscal year 2023 community project funding request with Congressman Cuevas' office, Henry Cuevas' office for a new fire station.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Solis. I guess we can read the resolution. Resolution in support of a community project funding request for a new Zapata County Fire Station. Whereas Zapata County Fire Department Emergency Medical Services are presently housed in an aging and substandard facility. And whereas the current Zapata County Fire Station is a structure that has seen numerous renovations and repairs in its decades of existence. And whereas the current facility has long reached the point when patchwork jobs are inadequate to meet the true underlying problem, the building has outlived its usefulness. And whereas COVID-19 pandemic has further eliminated the subpar conditions Zapata County's first responders currently must contend with, and whereas numerous exploratory attempts have been made at seeking potential funding sources for this project, and whereas Zapata County is a rural community in deep South Texas with a predominantly Mexican-American population as well as a sizable seasonal and elderly winter Texan population, and whereas Zapata County EMS, which is housed at the current Zapata County Fire Station, is sought out often by members of the community for many of their emergency medical needs, rather than calling for 911 services from their homes. And whereas due to the building's current state, the type of services that can be offered are somewhat limited, especially when considering the COVID-19 restrictions that we have found ourselves in. And whereas Zapata County Fire Department / EMS and the fire station have proved to be an invaluable asset for a resource-strapped community, and whereas our employees are simply not housed in a workplace that meets their everyday needs, and therefore be resolved that fiscal year 23 community project funding provides a much welcome opportunity to alleviate one of Zapata County's most pressing issues, and we respectfully ask for Congressman Henry Cuevas' full support in funding our request. The Zapata County Commissioners Court. Motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 43 is a textile resolution for right-of-way closure.
What event is this for then?
It's for the cycle de Mayo.
Oh,
Motion moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All those in favor say yes.
Aye. Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Garza to adjourn, seconded by Commissioner Solis. We are now adjourned.